Everything that you've seen and all the Knicks moves that have been made this summer. Thanks for joining. Big signing with Mario today. Give us your thoughts on Hezonja.
Well, it's kind of a special day for me too because I'm reuniting with Mario. You know, it's in Orlando, so part of the front office team that drafted him. Excited to bring him in. He's a very athletic player, can play multiple positions. He's still very young. He can shoot the basketball from the outside. He's a tremendously hard worker. And we really think he fits with our group. And so just excited to add his versatility. I think he's going to fit with the way Coach Fizdale wants to coach and play the game as well. And just happy to have him here and watch him grow a little more.
Talking about the fit on the basketball side, but the fact that you've known him for a while, from the chemistry point, what is it that you like about him for this team?
Well, again, I like his approach to the game. I mean, he wants to be a great player. He has a lot of self-confidence in himself, and I think those are two very important qualities to giving yourself a chance to becoming a very good player in the NBA. So I think that's going to be good for his teammates to see how he goes about his work each and every day. I think they're going to enjoy his personality because, again, he's kind of a fearless young fella and believes in himself a great deal. But he's a great teammate, though, and he's going to be supportive of his guys, and he's going to compete and play very hard. And I think the fans of New York are going to like him.
What can you tell me about the process? So knowing that you were involved the first time around, did you feel like you had an advantage to sneak in there and get him to come join the Knicks?
Well, it didn't hurt that he and I had a good familiarity with one another. We had a very good relationship when I was there in Orlando. And I think this time for us in free agency, I think Coach Fizdale was a great secret weapon for us to have. The two of them connected very well because he's going to be with him every step of the way as his coach. And he's going to be the one that's communicating to him what he needs on the floor. From a daily basis, more so than I would be doing. So that was important. I knew it was important to Mario that he wanted that connection. He needed that from wherever he was going to decide to go play. And I think when the two of those guys got together, it was a great fit from the start. They hit it off very well, and that's why he's here as a Knick.
The draft was big for you this year. Exciting that you were running the show this time around. And when you take a look at Kevin Knox, what have you seen so far over these first couple of games?
Well, we knew he was going to be a versatile player, can play multiple positions. He's been super assertive and aggressive here, which is something that we talked a lot to him about in the draft process. We had talked a lot to his college coach, Coach Calipari, about that with him and the importance that we needed that ingredient from the player that we're going to draft who could play that kind of hybrid wing position. And he's displayed that the first couple of games here in Summer League. He's played with a poise and a calm that really exceeds his 18 years age. But again, it's early. It's Summer League. There's going to be a lot of basketball to be played. There's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises along the way for him. But I think he's more than willing and more than up to the task of doing that, and we expect some good things out of this young man.
When you look at Mitchell Robinson, it's impressive in its own right that he comes out, steps up with a double-double in the last game. But really, when you consider that he hasn't faced this kind of size, he hasn't even played in college, how does that impress you that he's been able to make an impact so quickly?
It's been impressive, but I think the one thing that he had going for him, or he has going for him, I should say, when he wakes up in the morning, he's going to be a special athlete. When he goes to bed, he's a special athlete. So his athleticism allows him to do things on the basketball court, especially the things that we thought he was going to be able to do early on in his career: block shots, run the floor, rebound the basketball, and be a good defensive player. That natural athleticism gives him an opportunity to make plays right now, even without some of the experience that we know he needs, and the fact that he hasn't played much over the past year. But again, he's got a lot of growth ahead of him, so I would remind people of that. But the young man's approach. He's been more confident, and which has been a pleasant surprise because you never knew because he hadn't played. And to your point, playing against all of this size now and athleticism against guys who have been competing for a number of years, haven't had 14 months off, and so essentially he's coming straight from a high school court to a pro court. With nothing in between, but he's been up to it. He's been up to the task so far.
A couple guys have done it well. LeBron, Kobe. I mean, if we can join those ranks, that'll be okay, right? I mean, some big shoes to fill.
Oh, absolutely. But those guys went straight from high school to they didn't sit out 14 months either, and different positions. And we're talking about some generational players there, some of the greatest that have ever done it. So
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Exactly.
But when you look at Coach Fizdale, one of the things that I keep hearing from the players is they like the fact that he's been very honest with them, telling them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. What do you think will benefit the young players having a coach like that influencing them?
Well, what I've observed already with Coach, and this is one of the reasons that led us to hiring him, because we really believe this quality in him. He has an excellent balance of being able to hold guys accountable, and to your point, tell them what they need to hear versus want to hear. And he's able to do that because, on the other end, he's always supporting them, pouring confidence into them that they can achieve big things. So it's a very delicate balance that a coach has to manage, and David does that, I think, naturally. I think that's part of who he is, and I think it comes across in a very genuine manner to players. And I think players are very astute when it comes to coaches. They quickly know who is genuine and who is supportive and who's consistent. And I think that's one of the things that David and his staff have been. They've been consistent with all the players that they've touched thus far. And I think that's an important thing, and players can rally behind that.
Coach Fizdale told me that we're not seeing much of the offense this week, that this is just more about letting the guys play freely. But recently he also said that in his conversation with Kristaps Porzingis, he said, I don't have a position for you, that he could see him playing the 3, the 4, the 5. What excites you about that?
Well, again, I think where the game is headed now, when you have players who can play in a variety of spots on the floor, that gives you an opportunity to be a better basketball team and a tougher team to defend. I know that's an exciting concept and philosophy for Kristaps to hear. I know he's looking forward to that once he is able to get back on the court to be able to maybe grow and expand his game in a variety of ways. And I think that, again, that's where the game is headed. I think the more players that you can have on your roster who are capable of being quote-unquote positionless, it allows you to do certain things on the floor, both on the offensive end and the defensive end.
And Scott, before we let you go, when you take a look at the roster as it is now, how satisfied are you with it? And in your mind, are there still tweaks or changes that you're looking at here?
I'm going to always continue to look and explore to continue to make this team better in any way we can. But we're going to do it in a prudent fashion. I don't feel compelled to go out and just make a whole bunch of moves irrationally, if you will. But if something comes along that, again, fits our group, fits the need for more athleticism, more versatility, if we can find a player who would mesh well with this group that we have here now, then we would explore adding them to our team this year. And if not, we feel pretty good moving forward and looking forward to watching this group develop.
So you're telling us perhaps stay tuned.
Yeah. Perhaps, exactly.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.